The Vault Dweller. The original Fallout protagonist comes from Vault 13, where he lived an unremarkable life until the water purification chip broke down in 2161. By drawing the short straw, the Vault Dweller found himself tasked with finding a replacement water chip before Vault 13 ran out of clean water. After a dangerous journey and the sacrifice of his companion Ian, they successfully located the chip in Necropolis and returned it to the vault, saving the lives of all its inhabitants. The Vault Dweller also confronted and eliminated the Master, the leader of the super mutants, by invading Mariposa military base with the help of the Brotherhood of Steel and his companion Dogmeat. And despite losing Dogmeat in the process, our protagonist effectively ended the Unity's threat. Many of his actions had lasting consequences. For instance, by saving Tandy from the Khans, he paved the way for the new California Republic. In another case, after being exiled from Vault 13, the very place he saved, the Vault Dweller founded the village of Arroyo in 2167, which became the home of future generations, including his descendant, the Chosen One. The Vault Dweller is believed to have ultimately died sometime after the year 2208. By 2281, though, he was still remembered as one of the brave heroes of the early post-war days, with a statue erected in his honor at the NCR Capitol. For our ranking, we'll take into account each protagonist's feats, their impact on the Fallout world, and their canon skills. Based on these criteria, the Vault Dweller earns a fairly high spot on our list. The Chosen One. The Chosen One was the great-grandchild of the Vault Dweller, raised as a tribal in Arroyo. When drought threatened the village in 2241, the Elders sent the Chosen One to find a terraforming device called Garden of Eden Creation Kit to save their dying home. This journey led to accomplishments that matched their legendary ancestor. During the Chosen One's travels, they exposed anti-mutant conspirators planning to destroy Broken Hills, a small mining town turned safe haven inhabited by humans, super mutants, and ghouls living together harmoniously. This earned our protagonist the loyalty of the community's leader, Marcus. The Chosen One also eliminated Darien, the leader of the new Khans, which helped prove that President Tandy's policy of peaceful expansion could work and directly led to decades of NCR growth in the East. The greatest achievement of the Chosen One, though, was discovering and stopping the Enclave's plan to wipe out 95% of the planet's population. They managed to destroy the Enclave oil rig while saving Vault 13 and Arroyo captives. In the process, the Chosen One killed both President Richardson and the mutant Frank Horrigan, effectively shattering Enclave control on the West Coast for years. At last, with the Gek in hand, the Chosen One founded New Arroyo. All these accomplishments put the Chosen One very close to the top of our list. The Initiate. They're the protagonist from Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, and they could be a human male tribal, a female orphan, or a ghoul mercenary from Necropolis. Their mission was to find missing Brotherhood of Steel paladins who had disappeared while investigating super mutant activity. The Initiate's journey began in Carbon, where they fought raiders and killed their leader Jane. Moving to Lost Anything, they successfully found Rhombus, the sole survivor of the missing Brotherhood members, and defeated Blake, the High Priest of the Church of the Lost, who was holding Rhombus captive. Among their many adventures, the Initiate also fought kamikaze ghouls, revived an old generator, and dealt with super mutants to reach the corporate vault. Inside, they confronted Addis, the super mutant leader conducting the forced evolutionary virus experiments. Even after Addis mutated into a blob-like creature, the Initiate fought through to access a computer terminal and initiate the vault's decontamination. They then sprinted to a monorail car to escape the self-destructing facility, reaching safety as the corporate vault exploded behind them. Unfortunately, the Initiate's story is considered non-canon. Both the original developers and Bethesda have declared that nothing from this game affects the official Fallout timeline. And in terms of ranking, I have to place them at the very bottom, as their greatest feats are fairly mediocre compared to the other protagonists. The Warrior. The Warrior comes from Fallout Tactics, which takes place in the Midwest around 2197. They started as a tribal who joined the Brotherhood of Steel and quickly rose through the rank, with their early work including defeating organized raiders and slavers around the Chicago area. They also stopped the Beast Lords, a cannibalistic tribe that could control wasteland creatures, and ended Gamoran's super mutants, which were leftovers from the Master's army. Among all of these quests, the Warrior's biggest achievement was winning the war against the Calculator's robots. This rogue AI had been taking over settlements and turning humans into robots, threatening the entire Midwest region. After beating the Calculator's robots, the Warrior had to decide what to do with the AI itself. They could merge with the Calculator to create a human-machine leader, let someone else from their team do it, allow General Barnaky's robot mind to take over the Calculator, or just destroy it completely. Some parts of the Warrior's story are canon, while others aren't, which gives their story a degree of relevance in the Fallout universe. The Lone Wanderer. Born in the wasteland, but raised in Vault 101 for 19 years, the Lone Wanderer grows up sheltered from the outside world. When their father, James, suddenly disappeared from the vault, they were forced to leave and search for him in the capital wasteland. Early in their journey, the lone wanderer decides how to deal with Megaton's atomic bomb, possibly saving the settlement from destruction. This was the lone wanderer's first major intervention in the wasteland, beyond their personal quest. Eventually, the lone wanderer found their father, trapped in Vault 112's simulation, and reunited with him at Project Purity. However, when Colonel Autumn and the Enclave demanded control of the project, James sacrificed himself by flooding the control chamber with deadly radiation to prevent them from taking it. After their father's sacrifice, the lone wanderer worked with the Brotherhood of Steel to retrieve a Gek from Vault 87, a critical item needed to restore the water purification system. The lone wanderer then rallied the Brotherhood to assault the Jefferson Memorial and take back Project Purity from the Enclave. With the massive robot Liberty Prime, they successfully recaptured the facility. The lone wanderer then entered the radiation-flooded control chamber and activated the purifier, making clean water available to the entire capital wasteland. 2 weeks later, they invaded Adams Air Force Base and hijacked an orbital satellite array to destroy the Enclave's mobile base crawler. This final blow permanently crippled the Enclave's grip on the East Coast, forcing their remaining forces into hiding and effectively ending their threat in the region. The lone wanderer's achievements were great, but they had plenty of support while doing it, unlike the rest of the protagonists. The Courier. The Courier was an experienced wasteland traveler who had worked delivery routes across New California for years before the events of Fallout New Vegas. Their reputation as a reliable courier would eventually lead to both their greatest mistake and their most important mission. At some point in their journey, they were hired to deliver a package from Navarro to a community near Death Valley. But what they didn't know was that this package contained detonation codes for pre-war nuclear missile silos buried beneath the area. The missiles exploded underground, destroying the entire community and creating the dangerous wasteland known as the Divide. In 2281, the courier was tasked with carrying the platinum chip to New Vegas and was ambushed near Good Springs by Benny and his hired Great Khans. Benny shot them twice in the head and had them buried in a shallow grave. Against all odds, the courier survived and walked it off, becoming the stuff of wasteland legend. Our protagonist's journey across the Mojave became notable not just for surviving an assassination attempt, but for the massive scale of choices they had to make. They were the deciding factor in the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, determining the fate of the entire New Vegas region. Their decisions could shape the rise or fall of major factions like the NCR, Caesar's Legion, and Mr. House's regime, or wipe them all out to claim independence for the region. Beyond that, the Courier undertook some of the most dangerous missions in the Fallout series. They explored the Big Empty Research Facility, survived the deadly Sierra Madre Casino, and confronted Ulysses in the Divide, the very area they had accidentally devastated. Canonically, the Courier was a very skilled wastelander before the story even began, and unlike other protagonists, they operated without much external help, taking decisions that determined the fate of entire civilizations across the wasteland. And for such a legendary protagonist, only one spot is reserved for them. The Sole Survivor. A unique case among Fallout protagonists, the Sole Survivor is a pre-war civilian who was cryogenically frozen on October 23, 2077, the day of the Great War. What makes their story tragic is that 150 years later, in 2227, they were briefly awakened only to witness their spouse's murder and their infant son Sean's abduction, then refrozen right back until 2287. When they finally escaped Vault 111, over 210 years had passed since they were first frozen. The Sole Survivor's primary mission began as a quest for revenge and rescue, to avenge their spouse's death and locate their abducted son. After emerging from the vault, they helped re-establish the Minutemen by assisting Preston Garvey in defending settlers and resettling Sanctuary Hills. They tracked down and killed Conrad Kellogg, their spouse's murderer, retrieving a cybernetic implant that led them deeper into the mystery. To infiltrate the secretive institute, the Sole Survivor had to kill one of their advanced courser units and decode their teleportation technology. When they finally reached the institute, they discovered their son Sean had become an old man and the facility's director. It had been Sean himself that had reawakened our protagonist out of curiosity. This revelation transformed their mission entirely. The Sole Survivor faced a critical choice that would determine the fate of humanity and synths in the Commonwealth, whether to destroy the Institute, liberate synths, or side with their son and secure the region. The Sole Survivor deals with major threats and adapts quickly, but the changes they bring to the Commonwealth don't really echo across the wider Fallout universe. The 76ers. The 76ers represent a unique case as multiple protagonists working together. As former residents of Vault 76, these people were chosen to recolonize Appalachia. On October 23, 2102, exactly 25 years after the Great War, they emerged to restore West Virginia's post-apocalyptic landscape. Their biggest challenge was the Scorched Plague, a devastating disease spread by mutated scorch beasts. Working with an Enclave AI, the 76ers learned to launch nuclear weapons to lure the massive Scorch Beast Queen from her underground hive and defeat her. By 2103, they had developed and distributed a vaccine using their own blood called Nuka-Cola My Blood's In It, which cured the scorched plague that threatened the entire region. They also broke into the highly secured Vault 79 and recovered the United States' gold reserves, aimed at revitalizing Appalachia's economy. And later on, they assisted the Brotherhood of Steel in eliminating a super mutant threat in mad scientist Dr. Edgar Blackburn. Despite these achievements, their impact is a group effort, and it remains largely regional, with little reference to their accomplishments in later Fallout timeline entries. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe.